If you're trying to maximise headspace inside your campervan, then this video is for you. Let me show you my method of building a low profile floor while still insulated inside, and best yet, no drilling holes into your precious metal van. Come on then. Right, after all the cleaning and the prep work was done on the van structure, I was ready to build the floor. Remember, the three priorities for me were to keep the floor as low as possible, to still have some insulation quality in there, and to not drill any holes through my van floor, okay? So I cut some wooden battens to go in the valleys of the van floor. They're 22mm wide across on the metal floor there, and they're 18mm high, which brings them just slightly over those metal bumps. Now, I'm a big fan of the STIXALL adhesive. Love the stuff, it's never let me down. So once I had all of the wooden battens laid out ready, I began sticking each one down in the low points on the floor. The STIXALL grabbed really strong, and each one felt really secure straight away. Really good stuff. And I used a scrap piece of plywood with a straight edge just to check the levels across the battens and make sure I was hitting every one. I made sure to put lots of pieces around the door because that's a high foot traffic area as you're getting in and out all the time. So I really beefed that up. And again, this is the back section. Again, just sticking them down and crucially just making sure that they're running in line with their opposite member there. So I've got a full straight line running across the van for when I come to screw it down. And just double checking with the plywood. So I'll leave all those to dry overnight so nothing moves. And then I can move on to the next stage, which is insulating in between all of those battens. And this is how I did it. I used expanding foam in a spray gun. It's a good foam, it's fire rated, and I used 2 tins of this to complete the full floor. And so I began just nice and carefully spray foaming in between all of the battens, making sure that it's going to overfill nicely so I can cut it off later, which you'll see in a second. I took my time. And there we go, just speed it up a little bit. Went through the full floor. And it was quite a good little job actually, just making sure I've got every little bit in there. Don't miss any, take your time, get it all done. I definitely recommend using a spray gun rather than just those cheap nozzles you buy with some of them. The spray gun was definitely worth it. And here we go, once the foam is completely dry the next day, I got a handsaw and carefully use the wooden battens as a guide, and it's easier than it looks, and it just comes off perfectly flat with the wooden battens there. You get a nice flush surface and it's all filled in between, so you've got a nice foam layer in between each batten and you end up with a lovely foam floor at the end of it. Here's another angle here, nice and steady with a saw, little motions. And it's a very messy job, I'll tell you that now, if you are going to attempt this. Very messy. Don't do it on a windy day, that's for sure. You get a lot of dust and foam all over the place. You need your vacuum cleaner at hand. And don't worry about the pink foam, that was just the second tin that I used. Just a different colour what came out with that one. But it's the same stuff. Yeah, like I say, you need a vacuum on hand just to get rid of all the bits. Very messy job. But once it's done, it's well worth it. I was really happy with that. You've just got to be careful not to damage it. Make sure you use some wooden boards to lean on. Alright, on to the next stage. This is 7mm closed cell foam I have here. And it's got a self-sticky back. You just peel off the yellow paper like so. It sticks really nicely. And silver side up so it reflects any heat back into the van, obviously. And I just used a few pieces and cut it around my obstacles. Just an added layer, really. It's kind of to protect the expanding foam a little bit. And I just thought it's not too thick. I'll put this down as well. It's just a little bit extra before the wooden boards go down. But you can see how it's coming together there. And the board's going to go on top. You can see what I'm going for. Coming together. Okay, once that was done, this is the next stage. I used a paper template to mimic the wooden board that I'm going to put down on the floor. I've used some lining paper taped together here, and this is exactly 8x4, which is the same size as a sheet. And I've lined it up exactly on a wooden batten where I want it to land, so I can cut round the obstacles. And then I'll take the paper template to the board and cut the board to shape. I also sealed the board with SBR primer, as you can see there, and just seals it before it goes down. And here I am, bringing the board in. This is 11mm OSB board, OSB 3 I've used here. Again, I could have gone for the 18 thicker one, but I didn't see the need, and again, it's all about thickness. So I went for the 11mm, I think it's perfectly fine. And it has been, it stood the test of time so far. So I'm just laying it down here. I'm going to test it out, make sure my cuts are okay. Looking good. Here, look, I want this board to land halfway on one of these wooden joints here, so I can get a screw in this side. I'm just making sure it's running all the way down. And you'll notice I've put some tape on the back walls there. They're corresponding to each wooden batten underneath, so I haven't lost sight of them. The cut's looking perfect around there. I was really happy with that. The paper template was really good. And I'm just double checking that it's not tight anywhere. I don't want it squeaking. If it's tight anywhere, it just needs a little nibble off with a jigsaw. Take a tiny bit off there, look, I didn't want it squeaking in the corner. Make sure it's not tight anywhere. And again, I used the paper template for the other board, which is going to go along there. Paper template again, here it is. Bringing it in now. And again, that one fit really nicely. Just dropped in there. And the last little piece you can see there, I just cut a piece to shape, and I just bonded it with a lot of STIXALL and stuck a little piece in there, and it bonded overnight really hard. So you can see my cut's gone really nice on the template there, but a bit of a gap around because I filled it all with silicone sealant around there, so nothing was tight and binding against the van. And you can see I've just cut out for my side step there. You can check on my videos how I finished off that side step if you're interested. So again, coming to fix the board down now, just on the joint. I applied a lot of STIXALL on the joint there, so they're kind of bonded together before I put any screws in them. And then it was a case of screwing down. So I used a pencil and marked where all the battens were, and a straight edge. And once I knew where the battens were underneath, put plenty of screws in, lots and lots of screws. This was kind of the easy part, making sure not to miss any. And obviously all of these screws I'm using are just long enough to go through all the material and hit the wooden battens underneath, but they're not going to protrude into the metal van on the bottom. That's the whole point. And there we are, there's the two boards screwed down. The next thing to do would be to seal around the edges with some silicone sealant and let that dry. And then in my case, the next stage was to put my vinyl floor down. I brought this in a large sheet and cut it to size around all the obstacles. I'm really glad I used the vinyl flooring in the van. It's really durable, it's easy to wash. And I like the fact that it's in one big piece. There's no weaknesses anywhere, there's nowhere for water to get in and damage anything. It's a really good sealed surface on top of that wooden floor. And also, as you can see me fitting it here, it's just really easy to fit around all the obstacles. It's easy to fold, easy to cut. And it's just quite an easy job to do, all in all. So I'm really glad I used that on my floor. Once I'd cut it all to shape and I was happy it was going to fit perfectly, I used some Trim Fix spray adhesive, contact adhesive, to spray it all down onto the OSB boards when I was happy with it. And once that's done, it'll never budge. So there you go everyone, that's how I built my floor. I'd never seen anybody do this floor before I built this, so I don't know if it's a common thing or not. Let me know down below what you think. I think you'll agree it's quite a good option if you want to keep your floor as low as possible and get some insulation in there. And I'm happy to report this is a couple of years later I'm making this video now, and it's still as good as it was on day one. I'm really happy with the floor. Everything's been fine. And let us know down below if you like it. Give us a thumbs up if it's been helpful. Thanks very much. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see you down the road. Alright.